Hi everyone, Dawn Phoenix here. I'm a transformational healer and a moderator with the Conscious Leadership Network. And if you want to know more about the awesome work that we're doing to raise the consciousness of our planet with health and wellness and change makers who are dedicated to getting shit done in a positive and uplifting way, in a conscious way, go ahead and join us. The link down below, there's one to join the Conscious Leadership Network. There's also a link to join me in my tribe there called Spiritual Kindergarten. So that's a little bit about us. So I'm going to jump right in today to what we're going to talk about. Communication, that's what we're talking about this month. And the Dolphins wanted to talk today about different kinds of communication that we may not always know exist. So they call that non-traditional avenues of communication. So I will go ahead and bring in the Dolphins. And afterward, I just have a few announcements that I wanted to make, and hopefully I'll remember. Because sometimes when I come out of the channeling, I'm, ooh. All right, so here it goes. Hello, 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 our beloveds. We have been waiting oh so patiently to talk to you today. For those of you here now, and for those of you who are tuning in later, well, we weren't waiting so patiently, but we'll just say that we were because that sounds better. Today, we wish to talk to you about non-traditional ways of communicating. Now, most of the time, the way that humans view communication is through verbal or written language. You also seem to measure intelligence of other species and, quite honestly, other humans by their ability to read and write and speak. And we are here to tell you that that is simply not true. It is not an accurate measure whatsoever of a being's intelligence. And when we say a being, we mean an animal, a human, or any other non-human form, higher dimensional being. Verbal communication is actually incredibly inaccurate, and throughout time, there has been a lot of upheaval on your planet because of misunderstandings between what people say and what they mean. And we are talking about wars, not just interpersonal relationships, because intentions are misconstrued or someone takes offense when none was meant. So we would like to just open your eyes, your third eye, to some other possibilities that exist for communication that are far more accurate and, we think, fun. So there is the word you have called telepathy. And what that means is communication over a distance. That is all it means. It literally means making a long distance phone call, but without the phone. And that is how animals are able to move in the groups, the herds, the flocks, the schools that you see us, where the there's a group of fish and they suddenly all change direction, just like that, without anybody saying, hey, let's go over here out loud. So what works with these groups is telepathy, and they are so tuned in to each other that what one thinks is true for all of them. Now, let us pause for a moment. We're not saying one fish's thoughts or one bird's thoughts control the group, because that would just be anarchy. Or more to the point, it would be a dictatorship that one controlled them all. But they behave as one entity, a school or a flock. In that moment, they are tuned in to the collective energy. So it is not one being, it is one consciousness. And that is something that the animal kingdom has, for many, many thousands of years, been very good at. It is part of our instinctual nature. And humans, we're not saying all of you, there are some of you who are becoming more in tune with the concept of unity consciousness, but for the most part, and on the whole, humanity does not yet see itself as the human collective that it is. So you see yourselves as individuals, as individual nations, individual peoples, individual cultures. And that blocks that access to the greater consciousness that humanity actually possesses. So we would like to just, first of all, make you aware that there is the opportunity to interact with each other on a higher conscious level as a collective. And it is not something that is happening a lot right now with humanity, because not everyone is ready for it. Most of you are not. But when humanity does become ready, and every day you are getting closer and closer, and there are more of you who are waking up to this reality and tuning in, if you will, like a radio station, the dial on a radio station, you're finding that frequency. So there are times where you are practicing, and we're going to give you some examples. So when you have your global meditations, or even your local meditations, where groups of people get together, and you don't have to get together in person, because we understand right now for humanity it is dangerous to be grouped together. So we are just referring to you setting the intention at the same time to meditate as other people. So your group global meditations or your local meditations, somewhat akin to when people all go to church together, except this doesn't have to do with religion whatsoever. This has to do with your consciousness. When a group of people comes together with the same intention, it actually creates a ripple in the fabric of reality. And there is a new creation that was not in existence before. And that is when you are flexing your collective muscle, if you will. So there are those of you who do attend these global, and we'll just say for the sake of simplicity, global meditations, group meditations. When you attend these, there is a different feeling to them, and that you experience yourself, than when you are simply meditating at home in solitude or with your family around you. So that is one way that humanity is coming together in the energy of the collective. And another way that humanity comes together in that energy of the collective is when there is a disaster, some sort of traumatic experience that has happened, whether it is a set of wildfires or even just one, an earthquake, in this instance, a pandemic, when there is something that happens in the world and it is so tragic and so attention grabbing, where everything seems to stop still for a moment. Everyone pauses to send love and compassion right there into that one spot. And that is the nature of reality. It's like waving a red flag saying, over here, over here. And then, like a laser beam, the compassion and the love are focused. So, one of the biggest focusers of love and compassion in the history of humanity was the event that many of you refer to as 9/11. And that was because so many people all around the world in those few moments in time collectively sent so much love, so much compassion, so many wishes for healing, so many wishes for hearts that were broken, people who were injured to be well again. And in the aftermath that followed, compassion flowed for a long time afterward. And even going to that particular place in the physical world derives a very similar response. So it does not have to be this way. It does not have to take these tragic events and these losses of life to bring out the behavior of the collective that you are. But right now, that is just what happens. Eventually, you will shift away from needing those big, huge red flags waving over here, and you will have become of a high enough vibration that you are able to do this without having that poke at you to get your attention. So we just wanted to share with you ways that you are able to communicate that are nonverbal, that come from your heart space in terms of sending that love where it needs to be the most, which raises your vibration. Every time you do that, it is a hiring of a leveling up. And that's why these things occur, to get you leveled up. It's like a video game. The more things that you bump against in your world where you send compassion, it levels you up and levels you up. And so these bad things that happen actually serve a purpose. So when there is that tragic feeling of loss of life or abuse or neglect, and it only has to be even just one person, or it can even just be, it can be animals. When there are whales trapped under the ice, people come together to help save them, or trapped in a river. It brings that compassion into a focal point. So there are animals who are of service to humanity, and many of them have been whales and some dolphins. There are other animals also, the animals in Australia when the wildfires were burning. That helped spark humanity's depth of compassion. And these events help focus that compassion. So it only takes one person, one animal, one event to create that opportunity to level up. So we are not taking away from the fact that events like these that hurt your beautiful hearts so deeply, we're not taking away from that at all. But we are actually telling you something positive, that they serve a purpose. And that when you send that love and compassion, it helps you grow. It helps humanity grow in ways that you are not able to comprehend yet. So we wanted to thank you for starting on this journey that you may not even know you're on yet, where you come together in those groups to have those meditations or those healing circles, whether it's live or over your technology. And when you come together to send that love and compassion, when there have been tragic events unfolding in your world, we applaud you, we honor you, and we ask that you keep up the good work, because you are getting there, dear ones. You are. Every breath and every moment, you are getting closer and closer. So we love you so much, and we are so happy that you joined us here today. We hope that this message gave you hope, and we are sending you bubbles of joy and oodles of love. We are your brothers and sisters, the Dolphins. I love the Dolphins. I freaking do. There's such a different energy than the Arcturians or the Phoenix Collective, and there's nothing, I'm not crapping on anybody else, but just freaking love those Dolphins, and I hope you do too. I hope they make you smile. So just a few announcements. Hey, Xavier, I see these comments popping up now that I open my eyes. What was I going to say? Oh, I have a couple announcements. So I am co-hosting or co-teaching a channeling workshop with my friend Regina Curtis. She is an intuitive artist. Sorry, I'm still coming back. And we are co-hosting a channeling workshop on September 19th. There's a link down below to sign up for it. And I'm going to teach everybody how to channel. And this is a basics course. You'll learn how to channel your higher self first, and then we'll go from there. And then Regina is going to take over and show you how to take the information that you channel and turn it into something artistic. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a great artist. It can just be symbols and colors and whatever, but that's not my forte. I just know how to channel. So she's going to take care of after you channel, here's something that you can do to channel that energy into a visual for yourself. And she's actually done things like that for me, where I have channeled and she will create artwork. So I said, hey, let's actually teach people to do this for themselves. And so there's a link down below for that. So I think that's about it. And thank you for joining me here today. I know I went a little longer than usual, but that message was just so sweet. I wasn't going to stop them. So again, join us in the Conscious Leadership Network, little thingy right up there. And the link's down below. You can find me in my tribe, Spiritual Kindergarten. And I will see you guys next week at 1:00 Eastern next Monday. All right, thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.